Victor Manuel Renteria, and today be doing my presentation on Devil's Highway by Luis Alberto Urrea and comparing it to someone in America today. To give some context about the story, it is about 26 men who are led through the Sonora Desert but get lost on their way. Tragically, 14 men lose their lives on the voyage because of a person called Rooster Boy. And Rooster Boy is a coyote who's being paid to get them from Mexico to the United States. But at one point in the middle of the plot of the story, the Migra find them and they flash the lights, which causes the Rooster Boy and the other men to be dispersed around. And they eventually recoup themselves, but they lose their sense of direction since it's just desert and he didn't really know since he was only 18 at the time. As a result, the men go through the stages of hyperthermia, which means that they see delusions, their blood begins to boil, and they're just really in a weak state, which causes them to die. I want to take a step back for a moment because I want to examine why they're traveling, and most of them are traveling. Well, all of them are men, and they're traveling to provide for their family. And as I'll mention later in the presentation, they're not given a fair shake, which causes them to be dehumanized. So I want to start by talking about Raimundo Sr. and Raimundo Jr., their father and son, who are trying to make the journey. Raimundo Sr., he has his wife back in Mexico that he left, and he wants to build her a new house and make money to provide for them. Raimundo Jr. convinces his dad to take him with him because he thought that he would be able to help him by having actually 4 hands to work instead of 2. But later, as we know in the story, Raimundo Jr. dies, and shortly after, Raimundo Sr. also dies. Throughout the story, the Migra and other media members refer to the immigrants as tonks and wetbacks, which is just like a way to just dehumanize them by never referring to them as humans, and just making it seem like they're all having the same intentions of just trying to spread evil in the U.S. We see in a quote by Urrea on page 78 that they are coming for our daughters, they are coming to make welfare babies, they are coming to party, party, party. And this means that they're generalized and stereotyped as just people who want to have fun in the U.S. and not actually work, but in reality, they are hardworking people who just want to help their family, and that's why both the Mexican government and U.S. government turn a blind eye to the immigrants. They're very reactionary, and once they find out that 14 men have died, they have big memorials and try to do services for them. But as time passes by, nothing really changes, and it's pretty much the same thing. One analysis from Sandra Cox is she had a quote. The quotes: "The Devil's Highway calls for social justice by raising awareness in its readers of the human cost of particular representations of those who live in the liminal spaces between national identities." Cox on page 7. And what it's trying to say is that the 14 men who died, they had to try very hard to reach the American dream, but in reality, the American dream ended up costing their lives. And it's very petty the way that the Mexican and U.S. border they differentiate between its people when everyone wants just to provide for their family and not really do. Of course, there's people who do want to do wrong, but most of the people who try to cross are trying just to better themselves. In America today, we see an example of Kyrie Irving, and he refuses to get vaccinated for personal reasons. Kyrie is an NBA basketball player, and during COVID, they said they required all NBA players to be vaccinated in order to play home games. Some states have different rules, but in the state of New York, they make sure that all players are vaccinated. Otherwise, they cannot play, and that's what the Brooklyn Nets organization did, and they said that he couldn't practice or play. And because of this, many media outlets haven't really interviewed him or elaborated on his ideas, and they just see him as like some idiot who doesn't care about other people, but he believes that he doesn't want the government telling him what to do with his body. and that he believes in something to stand up for himself. And he's also being marginalized and treated as outcasts. To reiterate, he would just he doesn't want to get vaccinated, and they're just really calling him rude names, and he's just seen it as just a loser, really. And then he's also losing out on a lot of money. So this isn't just he really believes in this cause, and he's trying to make the most of it by believing what he believes in. Thank you.